So friends, in this video, this would be a very small video. We'll be covering chapter 8 of Economic Survey of India, volume 1. This chapter is about innovation, how in the field of innovation India is doing when compared to other countries, and what changes needs to be made to make us perform as good as top 10 economies in the world. Is India one of the top 10 economies? Yes. In terms of current value, India is on 5th rank. In terms of PPP, India is on 3rd rank. Right. But when we look at the expenditure in the field of innovation, number of patents, number of a lot of other factors, India is not there in top 10. So what should be done to make India go in top 10? So first of all, from economics perspective, why is innovation important, or why technology and innovation is important? Because it's crucial for economic growth and development. Like in 1940s and 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, the countries which were able to become industrialized, they were able to do it based on technology and innovation. There are various studies which Economic Survey of India has quoted. There is a solo model, and it's a 1956 model or 1956 study, which says that output per worker, productivity of the economy will basically be output per worker, mainly depends on savings, population growth, and technological progress. In 1950s also, they were giving high importance to technological progress. It was one of the 3 major factors for economic growth. But as you come to 1990s, technological progress has become the key determinant of growth. It's no more one of the major factors, it is the key determinant. If you are not making technological progress, you are not growing. There are various studies of a recent decade which also says that if you increase R&D investment by 10%, today if you are investing 1 crore rupees, if you increase it by 10%, your productivity goes by 1.1 to 1.4%. Overall economic productivity. So please understand, right now R&D investment may be very less. It may be only 10 crore rupees. Increasing it by 10% will make it go to 11 crore rupees. But your economic output is 10,000 crore rupee ka. Usme 1% increase is 100 crore rupees ka increase. So please understand it in this manner. So do not think, or 10% increase karke 1% economic growth बढ़ रहा है. In terms of value, 10% increase of R&D is very less investment when compared to 1 to 1.4% increase in the overall economic productivity. So recent studies have shown this. So overall, from economics perspective, innovation and growth are crucial. Now, this is also visible from the map of GDP per capita and the Global Innovation Index ranking. GDP per capita यहाँ पे mapped है and Global Innovation Ranking यहाँ पे mapped है. So you'll see that innovation ranking as you're improving, see here it's reverse, 120, 100, 80, 60, 40, 20, 0. So if you're here, you are best in innovation. You're also best in GDP per capita. So this also shows that for economic growth, for high economic growth, innovation is crucial. And therefore, innovation पे focus होना चाहिए. Now, how does India perform in innovation? In the 2020 Global Innovation Index, India has been ranked 48th out of 131 countries. This is the first time India has breached the top 50 rank. And since 2015-16, India has consistently improved. India is only among 4 countries in last 10 years which has improved in innovation. यहाँ पे 3 other economies, Vietnam, Republic of Moldova and Kenya, has the rare distinction of being an innovation achiever for 10 consecutive years. For 10 consecutive years, our ranking has improved in the field of innovation. This global innovation ranking was started only in 2007. And since 2011, our rank has been consistently improving. Now, what is this Global Innovation Index? So first, who publishes it for preliminary examination? Cornell University, INSEAD, and World Intellectual Property Right Organization, WIPO, are the bodies which publish it. ये क्या करती है? It evaluates economies on their innovation performance, how good they are in the field of innovation. Third, it has two sub-indices: innovation input and innovation output. Innovation inputs has 5 pillars, innovation output has 2 pillars. Then these 5 pillars of innovation input also have their sub pillars, these output also have their sub pillars, and so on. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे criterias हैं based on which this global innovation index ranking is done. So when we consider these 7 pillars, 5 of input and 2 of output, you'll see institution is a very important pillar. Institution में in your country, how is political environment, how is regulatory environment, how is business environment. Based on this, how good innovation is there in your country would be measured. This is institution mechanism. Similarly, human capital and research, how good education is there, tertiary education is there, research and development is there, it is measured here. You getting it? So Global Innovation Index have 5 input sub-indices in the input, and another sub-index has 2 pillars here. So total 7 pillars are there. India is doing well in some of the pillars. For example, in K2O, knowledge and technology output, in knowledge creation, in knowledge impact, in knowledge diffusion, India is doing very well. Knowledge diffusion, a lot of people, technologists from India are contributing in the global economic or innovative arena. The knowledge diffusion mein India would do very well. So you'll see in KTO, India is ranked 27th. Overall rank is what? 48. But in K2O, India is ranked 27th. In market sophistication, we are ranked 31st. In business sophistication, we are ranked 55th. In human capital and research, we are ranked 60th. In institutions, we are ranked 61st. In creative output, we are ranked 64th. In infrastructure, we are ranked 75. So these are the 7 pillars जिसमें हमारी ranking है. You will see infrastructure में information and technology, information and communication technology India में कैसा है, general infrastructure कैसा है, ecological sustainability कैसा है. This is one area where we don't do very well. Then, if you look at sub pillars, these pillars have their sub pillars. India ranks 10th in knowledge diffusion. In knowledge diffusion, India is amongst the best, and 15th in trade, commerce, and market scale. India's markets is 3rd largest in the world. वैसे तो then under the sub pillars also there are parameters. I said there are 80 parameters overall based on which this ranking is made. So among parameters, India ranks first in ICT service export, information and communication technology service export, not infrastructure. India ranks first. 3rd in domestic market scale. India's market 3rd largest, India's GDP is 3rd largest in terms of PPP. तो ऐसे अलग-अलग ways में इन्होंने ranking दी है. Key areas where improvement is required. India's rank in education sub-pillar is 107th. That is somewhere where our ranking needs to improve. It's because in student-teacher ratio in secondary education, our ranking is 118. So we need to have more teachers. Similarly, we are ranked 115th on new business per 1000 population. New businesses which are starting per 1000 population. Here we are not ranked very high. So we need to promote ease of doing business in the country so that more and more people would be able to start businesses. Then we are ranked 108th on tertiary inbound mobility. We are ranked 108th on ICT access as well as ICT use. Information and communication technology services export mein we are very good. But in India, internet penetration, internet access and other things mein we are very bad. So 101st on female employed with advanced degrees. So these are some areas where we'll need to improve. Then another major area of improvement for India is the contribution of private sector in research and development. In India, the research and 68% of the 63% of the total expenses in research and development is made by government, only 37% comes from business or private sector. This needs to improve because in the top 10 economies of the world, 68% on an average comes from private sector. In US, you will go, most of the research and development is happening in private sector, not in government institutions. But in India, that's not the case. And this is despite the fact that in India, incentives are very high for research and development. What do I mean by incentives are very high for research and development? It means that if you invest in research and development, government आपको बहुत सारी subsidies देगी, tax relaxations देगी. In spite of that, private sector is not investing a lot in research and development in India. In spite of that. Okay, then the government contributes 56% of the gross expenditure on R&D, which is 3 times the average contribution made by governments in top 10 economies. In top 10 economies, government ka contribution is around 20%, whereas in India, it's 56%. एक तो परसेंटेज एक्सपेंस की बात थी, बट ओवरऑल एक्सपेंसेस ऑल्सो इंडिया में रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट पे ओनली 0.65% ऑफ आवर जीडीपी इज स्पेंड, whereas this number is between 1.5 to 3% in case of large economies. So we need to increase spending more on research and development, and most of the thrust here has to come from private sector, which is not contributing enough. Similarly, when it comes to R&D personnel, 36% of R&D personnel and 23% of researchers among the top 10 economies. Indian government sector contributes this much in terms of personnel. Indian business contribution is 30% and 34%, which is second lowest among top 10 economies. Over 50% on an average, personnel are provided in top 10 economies by private sector, whereas in India, this number is lesser. Then number of Indian residents who are filing patents. जब कुछ innovative करोगे तो you will get patent over it. That's also less. Only 36% of patents filed in India comes from Indian residents. In general, in top 10 economies, more than 60% of the patents come from residents of that country. But that's not the case in India. Patents being filed from residents of the country is only 32%. Then for Indian firms also perform below expectation on innovation. Indian institutions, Indian organizations perform below expectation on innovation for their level of access to equity finance, which is the most crucial for innovation. तो जितना हमें equity finance मिलता है, ऐसा होना कि at our level of development, how much contribution should be made. So at our level of development, maybe contribution by private sector has to be lesser, but it is much lesser than what it should be in general also. Okay, then what should be the way forward? We have to ramp up investment in R&D. Right now it's around 0.6, 0.7%. We have to increase it to around 2%. एक चीज ये है. And here business sector will have to play a role. Then we also have to increase the share in total number of patents to a level which is commensurate to large economies. Right now it is lesser in number. Then institutions and business sophistication also has to improve, because institution and business sophistication improvement will play a very important role in overall innovation output performance. And for this, Economic Survey of India has suggested these things. There are some areas where we are good, उसपे और build करना है, and then there are some areas where we need to improve. For example, institutions में ease of resolving insolvency में we are ranked 47. That's good thing. Government effectiveness में we are ranked 55. That's good thing. But we need to improve it further. There are some areas where we are doing very bad. Ease of starting a business, political and operational stability, regulatory quality, rule of law, cost of redundancy dismissal. All these things, in all these areas, we have to do much better. We'll have to focus upon to promote research and development in the country. Similarly, in business sophistication, in areas like intellectual property right, payments, high-tech imports, percentage of firms offering formal training, state of cluster development, in these our ranking is in top 50. But there are some areas, for example, percentage of females employed with advanced degrees, here our rank is 101. FDI net inflows as a percentage of GDP, here our rank is 92. percentage of knowledge intensive employment here, our rank is 90. These are certain areas where we'll have to work upon to promote more R&D, more innovation. Okay, so Economic Survey of India actually provides this as a very big chapter of 40 pages, but in most of the things it is comparing India's with other countries in the form of graph. That is not needed. We have compared, we have made that comparison in the form of ranking. This should be enough for your preliminary as well as mains examination. Do not have to worry about all those 40 pages. Okay, so this is it for today. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with the remaining 2 chapters, the last 2 chapters of the Economic Survey of India. Okay.